Hey, welcome in, guys, to another sunny fall day in San Diego. It is beautiful out there. What's up, Haley?
What's up, Ryan? Yes, we are officially at that time where we now get all four seasons in one day.
I
We
know.
get winter, fall, spring, summer, and then back to winter and freezing at night. Like, if you're getting that like sinus headache, congestion, there's people right there with you because of this weather
I'm pretty sure I
change.
drove here in like a sweater and a scarf, and now I'm in a t-shirt because it's hot.
Yep, it's we get all our seasons. That's what
Yeah,
we're here for.
yeah. I love San Diego.
Well, we hope you guys had an amazing Halloween this week. Hope it was this week, right?
Yeah, last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday. No, this
This
recent
last
Tuesday. Okay, yeah, I was like, wait, it wasn't last week.
The
Like
Tuesday
what?
that's just passed.
Yes.
It is
Okay,
Friday.
I was right. I was yes. So
We're both
recent
right.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yes. The past Tuesday. We hope you guys had a great Halloween.
Sorry,
So-
we got distracted.
Whoa!
Oh.
Segue into our video today.
Yeah, but there's a lot of chaos going on in the world, lots of in the real estate world, in the world at large, in most economic sectors. There's turmoil, there's pain, there's a lot of happenings, and it's easy to get caught up in the notifications, the news outlets, tons of things that are vying for our attention and really, really competing for our time and our focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does one get through when action arguably is the most important thing we can apply in the last 2 months of the year?
Yeah.
At least setting up our first quarter, getting things established, getting into a rhythm, getting deeper into our habitual practices that are revenue generating activities in our businesses. Right now is a really good time to spend time, elaborating on those and really digging into those. But in this world of distraction, I feel like it's a tug of war.
All being in 12 different places at once.
Yeah.
And I think, we are trained nowadays to be so easily distracted because distraction yields us taking action, and then we get caught up and then we're distracted all day. I mean, that's why people, I think average screen time on phones now is like 2.5 hours a day, that people are just sitting there scrolling on their phones. Netflix is, I think, average is like 3 hours that people spend a day watching Netflix. Like, there is a lot of distractions that we can find to do anything else but taking actions. And we've been so wired nowadays to have this kind of instant gratification lifestyle, and things happen so quickly, and we can be like, oh, squirrel, distracted.
I know, and it's something. Nothing is more pleasing or like feels as good. Well, I mean, plenty of things feels good, but when you're in the slot, when you're in flow, right? And flow is something that's experienced less and less and less frequently. I feel like because my LinkedIn and my TikTok and my Snapchat and all of them want to give me a notification all at the same time. I do. Well, if you want to communicate with teenagers, you better have Snapchat.
I just picture Ryan like Snapchatting his daughter, like, hey.
I do. I don't do photos. Okay, I use it like a story approach. See, we got distracted, but by a social media platform, no less.
Well, and that's perfect. You just led right into one of the first things is you kind of have to identify what your distractions are. Like for me, when we were talking about this, I was reading a little book about distractions, and I caught myself looking at my phone, and then I pull up my phone and I instantly start scrolling on Instagram because like it is genius what these app technologies and people have done, but it's like they have made these apps to distract you. Why do you think gambling? It's all scrolling. It's all fast things.
Yeah.
Same thing with your phone. They have realized that scrolling is one of the most distraction things. So that's where your focus goes when you get sucked in, is you're scrolling because it's changing and you're having those different synapses.
Well, and then guys are smarter than us put together that know the reactions of the brain and what stimulates the brain and leaves the brain craving more of that thing. And one of the things it brings up in the book that we're studying is the scrolling of a what's it called, the machines,
the
slot machines scroll, because it's like, ooh, the brain is like, it's very pleasing to the brain. And that's why Instagram and social media platforms are made in that same scrolling motion, because it keeps us attached. So I mean, how do we stay focused with all these different things, the TV, real life, social media, emails, texts, all the notifications? How do we stay focused?
Well, I think one of the first things is definitely identifying where are your distractions. Where do you feel that you're being pulled? When you use the kids, it's like, oh my gosh, I was, my kids needed me all day. I was working from home and they were knocking on the door for me for this and mom this and dad this. And they were pulling me all through different places. So identify where you have distractions and when you do get distracted, and kind of to put a bow on that is you kind of have to time management around your distractions and get really focused on time management.
So awareness is the first step, is what I'm hearing. Awareness of where the pitfalls are, being wary of where you're slipping into. Because to your point, I check a notification on somebody's story that comes up on Instagram. 30 minutes later, I've liked and commented on 47 different posts.
Or you go on your phone to look up something on the internet real quick, and then you get sucked in that wormhole. And the next thing you know, you hop on Instagram or you get a notification on Facebook and you've been looking at your phone for like 20, 30 minutes. And all you needed to do was go on there to find one thing.
Right? I know. The phone's a dangerous place because everything's on our phone. Our fun, our life, our personal is on our phone. Our banking, our entertainment, everything's on the phone. Work is on the phone. The inbox, the text, all of it. So one trick of the trade is to just go to your notifications and turn off all your notifications. And when you're in a time where you want to experience flow and you really just want to focus on one thing, get one thing done, whether that's follow-up calls, whether that's emails, following up with customers, whether that's setting up your CRM and putting drip campaigns and whatever you really want to focus, put the phone in the other room. Put the phone in a drawer in the kitchen, as Rob talks about, right? Or just get it out of the way so that otherwise it's going to run your day and those notifications will distract you.
Something that I thought of when I was thinking of this, sorry, if you noticed the light bulb went off, put it on airplane mode. Yeah. Like if you're trying to just focus on something, put it on airplane mode, put it down. I know we've kind of shifted, like when we're in the office, I try not to make calls from my cell phone. I want to use my desk phone because I have no other distractions when it's just me and the phone sitting there with a piece of paper. Yeah. I'm not distracted by the notifications of like, oh, somebody messaged me on Facebook. I have to instantly see what that is right now. Yeah. And we are such in this world of like right now kind of thing when it's okay. Your text message is still going to be there in 15 minutes. Your call, if you time block it out for a 30-minute increment of trying not to look at your phone, your text, your call, everything is going to be there in 30 minutes. And I know in real estate, in our kind of world, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, my client needs me right now. It will be okay in 5 minutes. It will be okay.
It's still going to be there. And whether it's an opportunity or a challenge, it'll still be there. And it's hard, and we acknowledge it's hard.
We go through that.
You have a dopamine hit with what's called, in the psychological terms, intermittent payoff. Okay, so you pick up your phone, sometimes there's a notification, sometimes there's not. So there's not, but you have that risk and then that reward, and that gets right into the biochemistry of your brain. So that's where addiction starts. So we are addicted to our phones. So know that and give yourself guardrails to guard against that. One of the other things it talks about is your environment. So how can we set up our environment to adhere to and to really kind of promote focus?
Yeah. Like, what does your workspace look like? Like, I know for all of us, we have designated spaces in our houses where it's our desk. We work there. We have an office that we go into. And when we go into the office, we know it's work time. Like, yes, we have plenty of distractions around us. I know when we go in the office, there's people we like to talk with, and there's all the water cooler talk. We get up to grab coffee, and then we're chit-chatting for a few minutes. So really identify those, like, where is your environment? Where are you able to get work done? And if you're home and you have kids or you have things going on, in the book we're reading, it says put a sign on the door. Like, that's why we have open and close signs. You don't go into a restaurant if it says it's closed and nobody is in there. So you have to set up those kind of boundaries for yourself and for other people, because the more focused you are in your focus time, you're going to be able to feel a lot better when you're not so glued to what you're doing when you're spending time with the family, because you're not thinking of like, oh my gosh, I didn't do this. No, you got it all done because you were in that focus time. And now you can spend that genuine time with your family with the phone put away, with the other distractions off.
Absolutely. And it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? People say, hey, you got a second? You got a second? You got a second? Well, 40 people want a second that turns into 5 minutes each. That's like 200 minutes. That's crazy. That's like your day. Yeah. So when it's polite, kindly put a sign, notice that, hey, it's go time for me. I'm stuck in this. I can deal with you after. I can deal with the challenge or the opportunity after I spend this time. And I think it's critical, because if we don't protect our time, everybody's coming for our time. Advertisers, customers, friends, family, colleagues, all of it are demanding our time. So we have to be intentional on what direction we're going and what actions we're taking to get there and protect that time. That's where time blocking comes in, and actually, putting up blocks of time to where in this time frame, I'm only doing these things and that's it. But then you can build in pockets for social time, friend time, family time, etc. Just, I think as regimented as you can be with your time, you can get more out of your day and focused time.
Focus time. That's like the important thing too. And then when you get more focus time, you tend to have more time to do other things because you got everything you needed done during your focus time.
Yeah.
Something I really like when we were talking about environments is like, I really like to make sure like my desk is clear. There's not a bunch of clutter. There's not shit that I can just grab right there and be like, oh, what's this? I like to have a pretty clean area. So make sure when you're in your desk or when you're finding your environment to get your work done, whether you have to go to a coffee shop and just put in headphones and just you and the computer, find what that is for you, but really try to limit all the other distractions. So if you have to work from your computer, maybe put it on like the do not disturb where you can't get text coming in, and because I know if you're on a Mac, you get, text coming in, Instagram, you still get all those same notifications. So however it fits for you guys to be able to turn that off, I know this is something I'm really going to start practicing too. Make sure that fits for you, because you don't want to try to like shut off everything and then, you're like, oh, I forgot I didn't turn on my notifications again, or whatever it may be.
It happens. So we talked about digital environment, we talked about physical environment, and then of course in our environment there are other people, humans in our environment.
Yes, it's not just us. It's not just us.
And all of them, we're all distracted, and we want to distract each other. And so who are those people that when you call them, it's like 35 minutes later, and you're getting the whole scoop on everything in the whole world, and CNN's rundown, and they feel the need to share. Who are those people in your life? And definitely make time for them in a certain other time, other than when you want to get focused work done, right?
Well, and I think it goes on the flip side of that too. When you see somebody that's where you want to be, or like, who doesn't party and only focuses and like gets his work done and spends time with his family, or, somebody that really makes calls and has a lot of success, find those people and surround yourself with those people, because they say you are the 5 people you hang out with. So if you have somebody that's like super negative that you're always hanging out with, chances are you kind of tend to go a little negative. But if you have somebody that's positive, that's building a business, that's like, we're going to crush this shit, that's where your motivation comes in. And if they have focus time, if they are in their office making calls, ask them, hey, can we make calls, or can I just be around you in that same kind of environment? Because you're going to start making calls. I know for us, when we're next to each other making calls, I hear him say something, I'm like, ooh, that was good, I want to say that. Or like, he's on call 20 and I'm only on call like 10, and I'm like, sure, got to pick up my call game, got to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
She says something clever and I'm like, ooh, and it just speeds right in. And it's nice to have an accountability partner built in, but absolutely we are who we hang with. And they say that a vessel can't hold poison without the vessel itself becoming poison. And I think it's true with the people we allow into our lives, because their opinions, their viewpoints, their perspective become our own perspective just by sharing space, sharing energy, and constantly being inundated with that. So be careful who you let into your space and who you're kind of treating opinions as gospel truths, just because familiarity and frequency of being around those people, it's really important. People rub off on us. But back to focus is, I feel like, we are able to zone in, get things done. And I think in an environment and in a workplace and in a culture, really, where focus is more and more of a unicorn type idea, because of the digital age that's upon us, I think that it will separate you. It's becoming more and more of a unique selling proposition, a unique separator that you can get in there and jam out on one thing until it's done, and then put one other thing on your desk and focus on it until it's done. It's a superpower, really.
It really is. And I think too, the more disciplined that you become with your environment, your surroundings, the more disciplined of a person you become, because then you're like, nope, I'm in my focus time. This is it. I got 30 minutes. And there's the Pomodoro effect, or where you focus 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, 25 minutes on. I know for me, like, I can't sit there and jam for 3 hours. Like, I have to get up. I have to go, like, get outside, walk my dog for a minute. I got to change it up. So for me, that it really helps. And I set aside okay, 40 minutes, I'm making calls. I'm not getting up until I hit this amount of calls within this time. Then I can get up, go walk the dog, or I can get up, go get some sun on my face, or whatever it may be. If the dishes that had to be done when I needed to make calls, I do those, and then I get back into making calls. Like, so find your rhythm of what works for you. But for me, that is super, super helpful, where I set aside a time and I'm like, okay, I'm fully focused, 25, 30 minutes, no distractions. Put on like some kind of, like Ryan was saying this morning, he was doing classical music, and I was like, that might put me to sleep. But like some binaural beats or some kind of just like focused music. YouTube has great kind of music for that.
It occupies the right brain and gives it something to listen to while your left brain goes to war and focuses and gets through. And what's the whole point of all this focus? Is to get into action and move the needle in our business. Because if I can spend fewer minutes literally working, then I can have more minutes actually going and recreating and being with family, walking on the beach, traveling, etc. Right? So it's a trade-off. So if I'm kind of half doing both all the time, I'm not really doing anything.
Well, and think about, this just hit me, like think about somebody that works a normal 9 to 5 job where they go clock in somewhere, clock out somewhere. They have how many hours? And then God, I feel like every time I go to like Target or Walmart, they're always like, I gotta take my lunch break. It's been 2 hours. I'm like, man, I wish we had that. Like, well, I don't, I do. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, think about people that all day have to sit there, clock in, clock out. How much time are they really productive? Because if I was sitting in an office for that much time, you best believe there's probably a lot of BS time that you're really not being productive.
You're just counting the minutes to go.
Exactly. You're just like, okay, when can we get out of here? So if you can really this is why we're in this business as entrepreneurs, as building businesses, building relationships with people. You really have to time block and be specific on like, okay, because we don't work 9 to 5s. No. We have to be able to adjust. And that's why we are in this, is because we don't have somebody telling us when it's time to take a lunch. Hey, you need to take a 15-minute break here. But I just go to think of like, how much work do they really get done during that time? They could probably take that 9 to 5 to like a 9 to 12 and get everything done.
you figure this time blocking, time management thing out, or you work for somebody who figures it out for you. And it's just that simple. So it seems discipline, and protocol, and I don't want to follow this strict regimen. And it seems like I'm chained to this regimen, right? But really it frees me, because in that regimen, if I adhere to a disciplined approach for the day, when I'm gone, I'm gone. I can be off because I know I kicked ass as much as I could in the time that my disciplined schedule was afforded for work. So when I'm not working, I don't have to be checking every 5 minutes. I can truly be gone, set the phone down, and just be present, right? Because I was present in my work, I can be present in my personal time. And that to us, as we found, is critically important, because when I'm off, but I'm kind of checking emails, texting, I'm still kind of prospecting, but not really. I'm not really off and I'm not really on. No. I'm somewhere in between, and I'm frustrated because I don't really complete everything. But when I get into it, flow, and check boxes, I feel a really sense of fulfillment and contentment. And so I can enjoy my free time even more.
Well, I think there's also a great book, Discipline Equals Freedom, right?
Oh, yeah.
Side note, ninja tip, grab that book,
Jocko's
listen to
man.
it. He lives by me a couple streets over, I recently found out. So that's pretty cool.
That's a Navy SEAL. Yeah. Instant badass.
But it's so true. And I think, for me at my age, I have so many friends that come to me that, I went to college with or did this, and they're like, man, like I would love to get into real estate because it looks like you could just go golfing or do this all day and you guys could do this. And it makes me chuckle. I'm like, well, you can do that with strict time blocking and strict things in place, but you don't just go on the golf course every single day and all of a sudden have all these deals falling out of nowhere. Yeah. You have to be disciplined with your time. And that's the beauty of it. Discipline does equal freedom. You can go do all those things that you want, but you have to be disciplined in your prospecting, your money-making hours, your time where we're running our business.
Yeah, and I think the things I can control and the things I can't control is a great, rough, high-level litmus test of distraction, because I get sucked into the news and world affairs and things that are way outside of my control. But I think I have the illusion of control. If I sit and worry and ponder and worry about, then maybe I'll exert some kind of control, and that's just never the case. Mm-hmm. I can never control other people, external events. So what can I control? I control what I do. I can control my attitude. I can control my availability. What am I making time for? And those things are in my control, and I can focus, laser-like focus on them, get shit done, and when I'm out, I'm free of those obligations.
Exactly. Yeah. We are trying to get Ryan to run for president, though.
No.
So 2028. I don't even know, but so if anybody's
Not
behind
me.
that,
I'm not the guy. Too many skeletons in the closet for Poppy.
No, he can't. Just kidding. Totally. Sorry. Distraction. Squirrel.
Totally
Side note.
distraction.
But
So, is
so
there
true.
any other self-discipline?
I think this was
Setting
our
goals?
notes. Yeah, we got that. So if you guys have questions on this, tips, we still try to practice this as much as we can. It's all practice. I mean, nobody has made it to like being perfectly not distracted, but we do try to put things in place that help us be less distracted.
Well, awareness of the distraction coming is the first defense. So we are definitely aware of it, and we try to take steps to remain, at least give ourselves pockets of focused attention, and it's really helped. So, I mean, anything you need, we're all on the journey together. Nobody's figured this out. There is no destination. It's just a matter of staying present in the journey. So we're happy to chat with you on anything else we do on these videos. We're stoked to be a part of your team. And I think that is the end of this weekly real estate wrap up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much again for tuning in. And yeah, we are here to help. We are doing this with you. We have our distractions as well. Yeah. Let us know what yours are, and we can kind of talk about it and see how we can help figure them out. So I think I'm Haley today.
I'm Ryan.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye.